the latest hypocrisy of the Biden regime and the invasion of our southern border. A guy who knows about it because it's happening in his state, Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. How about it, Louie? I mean, I think that Republicans better start putting this Charlemagne the God on the payroll because he's the one that called out Joe ages ago. Remember when he said, you ain't black? He's the one that called out Kamala Harris when they were doing the back and forth about the border. And now he's calling him out again on the border. I'm starting to like this guy, and I thought he was a liberal.
Yeah. Well, I can get along with liberals if they will just be honest.
Thank you.
And you're pointing out the hypocrisy. And, you know, for heaven's sake, like Martha's Vineyard, they got like 1/10,000th of what we deal with here in Texas. And they were squealing like they'd been scalded. And we're going, where is all that compassion that you have condemning border states for saying, this isn't right? And Dan, I keep coming back to it. It is an invasion.
Yes.
I mean, if having just some of Pancho Villa's troops come across and kill some Americans back in 1916 was enough to justify calling an invasion, sending national troops down there to chase Pancho Villa, then having millions come in. I mean, we've got towns that have grown 4 times what they were, you know, small towns, because of all the people being brought into their district.
Right.
And they don't
some
have
of them are the worst.
capacity to educate them. Yeah, it's just
Let's
terrible.
talk about who they're sending. It ain't just sweet women and kids. You just saw the report I read right before you came in about the Venezuelan government. They literally let some of their worst out of prison and told them, go to America. We're getting some of the worst too.
Well, and if you recall, historically speaking, back during the Carter administration, one of the worst, most historically bad terms, I guess Castro in Cuba figured out that our president was so weak, so pitiful as a leader, that he emptied all the prisons and the crazy.
And look what that led to in Florida with the drug problem. And when all those Cubans came up, not the nice ones, the drug dealing ones, I got to clarify. Look what happened then from the late 70s into the 80s in Florida after Castro did that. Thanks, Jimmy Carter. And now look what's happening with fentanyl. Thanks, Joe Biden.
And for people that came in legally, some of the best U.S. citizens we have came from Cuba.
Right.
But not coming from, you know, the prisons. Yeah.
I got a couple headlines.
There were some political persecutions there as well, but we want immigration. We have more immigration legally than any nation in the world. Bigger nations don't allow as many in as we do. And yet this is being forced. And our founders knew that if you don't educate children as to what is required to keep a republic, you won't keep it for very long.
There you go.
And that's what these clowns are doing. The Marxists are educating people that it's wonderful to share and share alike. And then we see how they feel when they get just, you know, 1/10,000th of what we get.
Let's talk about that. I got a couple headlines. I want to go back to the Martha's Vineyard thing because it sounds like DeSantis and Abbott are going to send some more buses, which I absolutely love. So CNN put an article out. They enriched our lives. The 44-hour visit of the migrants to Martha's Vineyard. So here's what's hilarious. The liberal press sucking up and kissing up to the liberal elite on that island. I don't know if you saw the video of when they got deported back off the island, by the way, by the military, folks. I want to point that out. They actually called the National Guard to deport 55 people, or 50 or 45, whatever the number was, around 50. There they go, off of their island after they were dropped. And they clapped and waved them on like, oh, we love you. Thanks for coming. Goodbye. Get the hell out. But, oh, we love you. And literally the media goes along with it and says, they enriched our lives. Like we helped them by being so rich and elite and talking with them for 44 hours. And then we kicked them off our island. And they enriched our lives by showing us what it means to want to be an American, blah, blah, blah. That article was the biggest load of, you literally kicked them off. Within a day and a half, you sent them packing to a military base and you used the military to do it. But I thought when your governor and other governors in Arizona, Texas, and elsewhere wanted to use the military, then that's racist to secure the border. What?
Yep. That's what they've said.
Yeah.
But anyway, but Dan, if they hadn't said those things, we wouldn't know them for the hypocrites they are.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you to Governor Abbott and DeSantis for pointing that out big time. I know we had another headline there. DeSantis says more flights are coming soon. But I just had to throw this one up to throw NBC under the bus, because could you imagine if a conservative media outlet made a statement comparing throwing away or taking out the trash similar to how DeSantis is treating refugees? That's how NBC labeled this whole thing. Compared them to trash in what DeSantis is doing. By the way, DeSantis only did what Joe Biden's been doing for 18 months with the overnight secret flights in the middle of the night in the buses. So how is it racist when your governor or Florida's does, but not when the president of the United States does it?
Well, there's nothing racist about it. And by the way, for all their screaming, not one illegal immigrant is sent to any of those places without their consent. They have to consent and do so, and I believe they have to consent in writing, and only then can they be bused to any other location. They're being sent where the people want to go, which is greatly different from where the U.S. government is shipping people, because I've been down there all hours of the day and night. I have seen people waiting in line to be questioned by the Border Patrol about, do they have relatives somewhere? And I've watched them down the line comparing addresses that the drug cartels gave them to say, this is where I need to go, I have relatives. And they'll switch them around. They'll pass around addresses trying to pick which one they want. What the U.S. government has done, according to our Border Patrol, they're reported, the drug cartels call them their logistics. They get people illegally across the border, and then the U.S. government ships them where the drug cartels want them. So this changes the drug cartels' plans, because it's shipping them where the illegal aliens want to go instead of shipping them want them to go.
Right. Oh, Louie, we're having a problem with your audio.
The drug cartels want them.
Sorry, Louie, we had a little drop with your audio right there. I didn't want people to miss you there. Louie Gohmert, representing Texas First, thank you so much for continuing to raise the red flag, continue to spotlight this invasion at our southern border and all the crises that follow. And yes, it all falls back on Joe Biden. And we will continue to sound the alarm bell until the damn border's closed. Thank you, Louie.
Thanks for being on top of the story. Thank you, Dan.
You got it.